Zack Snyder is a polarizing filmmaker, known for his visually striking but often divisive directorial style. Over the years, his filmography has been marked by both high praise and strong criticism. Even if as of late it's been more criticism than praise, I digress. However, amidst the ups and downs of his career, one film has consistently standed out as a highlight, and that film is 300. 300, released in 2006, is an epic historical action film based on Frank Miller's graphic novel of the same name, which in turn is inspired by the Battle of Thermopylae. It tells the story of King Leonidas and his 300 Spartan warriors who stood against the overwhelming forces of Persian King Xerxes. Through stunning visuals, intense action sequences, and bold storytelling, 300 remains one of the few great movies Snyder has directed, alongside Watchmen. In this essay, I will explore the elements that make 300 not just a triumph on Snyder's career, but a cultural phenomenon that has left a lasting impact on the action film genre. One of the most defining features of 300 is its visual aesthetic, which perfectly mirrors the graphic novel it is based on. Snyder's decision to use green screens and digital backdrops to recreate the stylized imagery from Frank Miller's original work was groundbreaking at the time. The hyper-realistic, sepia-toned world of 300 immerses the audience in a mythic, larger-than-life vision of ancient Greece. Snyder's use of slow motion and heightened contrasts in color and lighting created a painterly quality in each frame, making the film feel almost like a moving graphic novel. The use of CGI and visual effects wasn't just about spectacle, it was integral to the storytelling. The exaggerated physicality of the Spartan warriors, the monstrous Persian enemies, and the towering figure of Xerxes all contributed to the film's larger-than-life tone. Snyder's meticulous attention to the visual details enhanced the narrative by turning the battlefield into an almost mythical space where men became legends. The surreal visuals also allowed Snyder to push the boundaries of violence and action, making the blood-soaked battles more artistic than gratuitous, which kept audiences engaged with its stylized brutality. The visual storytelling in 300 also transcends mere action set pieces, with the framing of Leonidas and his men standing defiantly against the Persian horde being iconic, symbolizing the Spartans' unwavering commitment to their cause. Snyder's ability to convey the theme of resistance and sacrifice through visual composition is one of the film's most commendable aspects. The dynamic between light and shadow, sharp angles, and the juxtaposition of chaos and order on the battlefield all serve to reinforce this film's central themes. Ultimately, the aesthetic brilliance of 300 lies in Snyder's ability to create a cohesive and immersive visual experience. While other directors may rely on visuals for pure spectacle, Snyder used them as a narrative tool, ensuring that every scene not only looked stunning, but also contributed to the mythos of the story being told. At its core, 300 is a tale of heroism, sacrifice, and the sheer defiance of impossible odds. The narrative, though simple, is elevated by its mythic structure, positioning King Leonidas and his Spartans as larger-than-life figures destined for glory. Snyder taps into timeless themes of honor, loyalty, and courage, transforming what could have been a straightforward war film into a story with epic, almost Homeric undertones. The narrative follows the path of a classic hero's journey, with Leonidas standing as the archetype of a noble warrior king who chooses death in battle over surrender. The film's portrayal of the Spartans as not just warriors, but as the last bastion of freedom against the overwhelming tyranny of the Persian Empire, adds a layer of emotional weight to the narrative. The decision to sacrifice 300 men in the face of inevitable defeat emphasizes the value of freedom and the price that must be paid to preserve it. Leonidas' famous line, "Tonight we dine in hell," is emblematic of the film's overarching message, that true heroism lies in the willingness to fight for a cause greater than oneself, even if the outcome is grim. Snyder's approach to the narrative also incorporates a sense of historical romanticism. Though the story of 300 Spartans has been embellished, the film fully embraces its mythologizing of history. By doing so, Snyder reframes this battle as a legend rather than a factual recounting of events. This narrative choice strengthens the film's themes, as the Spartans are not just men, they became legends whose deeds will echo throughout history. In the end, the mythic narrative of 300 is what gives this film its emotional resonance. It is not just a story about a battle, it is a story about standing against overwhelming odds, about the sacrifice required to achieve greatness, and about the enduring power of myth to inspire future generations. While 300 is known for its visual spectacle and action, the strength of the film also lies in its memorable characterization and performances. Gerard Butler's portrayal of King Leonidas is the film's centerpiece, and this commanding performance anchors the entire narrative. Butler brings a mixture of intensity, gravitas, and charisma to the role, making Leonidas not just a warrior king but a symbol of unwavering leadership. His iconic delivery of the line, "This is Sparta," remains one of the most memorable moments in modern cinema, capturing the fiery spirit of his character and the ethos of his people. The film's supporting cast also plays a significant role in bringing this story to life. Each of the Spartans, though not deeply fleshed out as individuals, embodies the stoic, disciplined nature of their culture. Michael Fassbender's role as Stilios, though smaller, is notable for his youthful energy and enthusiastic commitment to the Spartan cause. The camaraderie among the Spartans is palpable, and their interactions with one another help to humanize them, giving the audience a glimpse of the brotherhood and loyalty that drives them. On the opposite side, Rodrigo Santoro's portrayal of Xerxes provides a stark contrast to the rugged Spartans. His portrayal of the Persian king as a godlike figure who commands not just armies but the very will of men adds a layer of intrigue to the film. Xerxes is not just a villain in the traditional sense, he represents the overwhelming power and decadence of an empire that seeks to crush the spirit of freedom. Santoro's otherworldly performance, aided by Snyder's visual enhancements, transforms Xerxes into an almost mythic figure, making the battle between him and Leonidas not just a physical struggle, but a clash of ideologies. Snyder's attention to the characterization in 300 helped to ground the film in its larger-than-life narrative. The film's focus on leadership, brotherhood, and defiance is personified in the characters, whose performances elevate this film beyond just a visual spectacle into something emotionally engaging and utterly memorable. Action is at the heart of 300, with Snyder's direction ensuring that each battle scene is not only thrilling, but also meticulously crafted. The choreography of the fight scenes is one of the film's greatest strengths. Snyder's use of slow motion, combined with fast-paced, brutal action, creates a rhythm that allows the audience to follow every movement, making the combat feel both intimate yet epic. The fight scenes are choreographed to highlight the Spartans' military discipline, with their prowess as warriors and their unbreakable formation being the phalanx. The visceral nature of the combat in 300 is what sets it apart from other typical action films of its time. Each clash of swords, shield, and spear is depicted with precision, giving the audience a front row seat to the savagery and grace of the battlefield. The Spartans are depicted as warriors who are not only skilled, but are also physically and mentally prepared for the brutality that is war. What sets 300 apart from other action films, however, is not just the choreography itself, but how the action serves the narrative. The battles are not just showcases of violence, they are integral to the story of the Spartans' resistance. Snyder's use of action as a storytelling tool ensured that the battles were not just visually spectacular, but emotionally resonant. Moreover, the film's pacing, with intense bursts of action, followed by quieter, more reflective moments, allows the audience to process the emotional stakes of the conflict. Snyder strikes a balance between the adrenaline-pumping scenes of combat and the moments of introspection, ensuring that the action serves the overall narrative arc rather than overwhelming it. One of the key factors that makes 300 such a memorable film is its abundance of iconic moments and quotable lines, which have become part of the broader cultural lexicon. From the unforgettable "This is Sparta" battle cry to Leonidas' stoic declaration, "Tonight we dine in hell," the dialogue in 300 captures the essence of what made the Spartans' unyielding spirit so memorable and so epic. These lines were delivered with such intensity and conviction by Gerard Butler and the rest of the cast that they resonate long after the film has ended. The script, while not overtly complex, is laced with a sense of gravitas that suits the mythic tone of the story. The exchanges between Leonidas and his warriors, as well as his confrontations with Xerxes, are infused with a kind of poetic grandiosity that elevates the film from mere action fare into something more impactful. These speeches aren't just rallying cries for the Spartans, but are symbolic of the broader conflict between tyranny and liberty. These iconic moments have helped solidify 300's place in popular culture, with these films' most quotable lines having been parodied, referenced, and honored across various forms of other media. All of these and more have showcased just how deeply they have been permeated throughout the public consciousness. This ability to create enduring, memorable scenes is a testament to Snyder's talent for spectacle, and 300 stands out as one of his few films to achieve this level of cultural impact. While many people have criticized Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, or just commonly known as BvS, for its convoluted plot and darker tone, I personally found myself in the minority when it comes to my enjoyment of this film. To me, BvS stands out as one of the few other films of Zack Snyder's, besides 300 and Watchmen, that I would eagerly rewatch and genuinely say I enjoyed. Despite the polarized reaction it garnered, this film captured my attention in a way that Snyder's other projects, such as Man of Steel and the later films such as Justice League, never actually managed to. One of the biggest reasons I enjoyed BvS was the epic showdown between Batman and Superman. This is what the movie had promised and, in my opinion, delivered. For many years, fans had debated who would win in a fight between these two legendary heroes, and Snyder brought that battle to life on screen in an intense, visually striking way. The fight felt grand and visceral, with Batman's clever use of gadgets and strategy against Superman's raw power being the highlight. The darker, more brutal portrayal of Batman, played by Ben Affleck, made the confrontation feel personal and raw, which I personally found engaging. And while this movie definitely suffered from plot issues, such as the infamous Martha moment, those didn't detract from my overall enjoyment. And while the storytelling might not be perfect, if anything it's not even close to being perfect, the Batman super fight, the Batman v Superman fight, outweighed most of the film's flaws for me. The stakes were immense, and Snyder's knack for creating memorable imagery was in full display throughout the movie. Another aspect of BvS that stands out for me is its darker, grittier tone compared to other superhero films, particularly those of the MCU. While this tonal shift was divisive, I personally appreciated how it differentiated the film from the light-hearted approaches seen by the aforementioned Marvel Cinematic Universe. This willingness to delve into heavier themes is something I appreciated at the time, even if the execution was not even close to perfect. In the end, while Batman v Superman may not have the universal appeal and thematic structure of 300, it is a film that holds up for rewatching, especially because of the sheer spectacle and the way Snyder crafted the long-anticipated clash between two iconic superheroes. And while it didn't win over everyone, I stand by my enjoyment of the film, and it remains one of the only other films of Snyder's that I feel genuinely deserves a place alongside 300 and Watchmen in terms of sheer entertainment value. In the end, Zack Snyder's 300 remains one of the few great movies he has directed, standing alongside Batman v Superman and Watchmen as his most notable achievements. 300 succeeded due to its visceral brilliance, mythic narrative and iconic moments, as well as choreographed action, leaving an indelible mark on both Snyder's career and the broader action movie genre. While Snyder's other films, especially as of late, have struggled to achieve the same level of impact or rewatchability, 300 continues to resonate with audiences as a thrilling, emotionally charged, and visually groundbreaking film. Its influence on subsequent action and epic films, as well as its place in popular culture, cements 300 as a standout in Snyder's filmography and as one of the most defining film of the mid-2000s.
Oh,